Now coming to the final module or topic from this week, that is how to sell in international markets. Let's understand the various challenges faced by firm while selling internationally. So while discussing the challenges, we have to look at organization structure one can have in those international markets through which we are going to sell our products and services, and then what kind of organization we are having to support our international sales. We can discuss those challenges specific to those kind of organization structures. So what kind of organization we have for selling in international markets? First one is multinational marketing. It involves companies whose business interest, manufacturing plant and offices are spread throughout the world. So although their strategic headquarters might be in an original country or a home country, multinationals operate independently at national levels. For example, Coca-Cola. Another way of having an organization or kind of in a system to sell international is to go for international marketing. So companies that have made a strategic decision to enter foreign markets have made appropriate organizational changes and marketing mix adaptation as well. And then there is a third way or third route to sell in international markets, that is exports or exporting. So companies that regard exporting as a peripheral activity whose turnover from exporting is less than 20%. That means companies whose sales from international markets are coming through exporting the products and services, and this kind of exporting only contributes around 20% of those sales or business. So here there are again, in a different way, there can be three type of strategies one can adopt to cover that particular international market. First one is intensive coverage. That means all of your products are available across the globe in each country. So you want to get kind of most intensive kind of distribution or product availability for that particular market. Second type is selective market coverage, when you are not trying to sell particular product in each country and which is available across each and every shop that is available there. You select some kind of intermediaries or only selective places only your product is available, or selected channels that you want to sell your products through. And exclusive is something that you own those particular channels. For example, Zara stores, which are exclusive stores, so they kind of make or kind of establish their shop in the particular country, and then they will not sell the Zara products through other channels, like selling it on related other kind of variety or convenience stores or even kind of retail stores. So intensive, selective, whereas exclusive, there are the three kind of market coverage a company can opt for. There are different types of intermediary that we have, and they gives us different kind of leverage or benefits to our business, which include carrying of inventory. So they carry the inventory or kind of products range to that particular market. Demand generation, these kind of intermediaries also work to generate demand for your products and services. They also take care of physical distribution of the goods, and even going further, they also provide after sales services also. And with that, they also kind of offer credit extension facilities to their customers as well. So there are three different types we are going to look at as in type of intermediary, and how to go for selection, and what are the challenges if you're going with that particular kind of intermediary. So the first type of intermediary or kind of a channel we have is appointing agents. So an agent is a firm or individuals acting on behalf of another. This is one of the main forms of overseas representation. So the most common form of agency is where agents acting as independent operators obtain orders on behalf of an exporter on a commission basis, and the exporter acts as a principal. So that's how agents work. So agents also work on behalf of purchasers, and some specialize in certain tasks, for example transport and distribution, advertising and market research, etc. So challenges of recruiting those agents is, first challenge is they represent competing clients sometimes. So they might have their own interest, so they may shift from your kind of orders, and they can go for your competitors products, and then generating demand for your competitors products. So that's what they are like, they have the competing clients with them. So it's very hard to make out whether the particular client or agent is working for fully for your kind of benefits. Training, agents need a lot of training, and then it again involves cost of those particular trainings, and specifically for products which high technical kind of things and all, training will take kind of an important aspect. So agents reputation and financial position is also something which is kind of another challenge. The required coverage of your market is again kind of challenge, because you need to have a lot of agents if you want to cover more area. So it's not something, and in each area you will have agents having different demands as well. Technical support or after sales service arrangements are hard to be kind of provided to your customer when it comes through sell agents. Another kind of intermediary that we can have while selling internationally is distributors, appointing some distributors for your products and services. Distributors act in a different capacity as compared to agents, as they actually buy and sell the goods, whereas agents work principally on commission. So that's the main difference between agent and distributor. So where agents are working only for commission, agents will actually buy from you and sell your goods in that particular market. So distributors differ from agents as follows. So distributors will be able to finance their own stock holding of goods because they're actually buying from you, as compared to agents. Again, distributors will usually be able to purchase in large quantities, thus saving on delivery cost. But in terms of agents, it all depends on how much finance and reputation he enjoys in that particular market. So acting as a principal, distributors will be commercially and legally responsible for all business transaction in the market. So you can assign the particular responsibility to that particular distributor, which is not possible in case of agents. Distributors are entrepreneurs and accept risk involved in the purchase and reselling of goods, such as local falls in demand and currency fluctuations. So there is a cushion that this particular kind of intermediary provides to your business. So in some cases they may provide an after sales services as well, which is not actually possible when it comes to appointing agents. So providing after sales service is something which you can expect from your distributors also. Challenges in appointing or involving distributor is to decide the final selling price in the for the customers, because as a particular distributor is actually buying from you, you don't hold that particular right to those products, right? So it's up to the distributor that how he wants to sell. For example, if you are into a luxury products, something like that, and you have sold a luxury product to distributors, based on its distributor's financial position and command over the market, he might again reduce kind of prices in that particular market, which are not looks more luxurious as compared to what prices you are setting in other countries or in your home market. Technicals and sales assistance is an important part, where again for distributors also it takes huge amount of time and money and efforts to provide these kind of assistance to the distributor and their team. Control over marketing strategy is not in your hands once you appoint distributors. So as he has taken a right of goods and services from you, he can have his own marketing strategy to sell or market those goods in those particular territories. Third way is licensing. So licensing is another alternative open to a firm contemplating an indirect venture into overseas market. So it assumes that a company has some unique product or process, preferably protected by a patent, that an overseas company will want to manufacture. So you have something which is kind of legally protected under patent act and all, and then you want to transfer those kind of technology to the particular country. In those cases you can identify some ventures or some business houses which are having some kind of resources in terms of R&D, manufacturing and etc., and then you give that particular license of manufacturing that particular technology to those houses through licensing. So this is a good way of entering and remaining in more distant markets, or in a market where it is difficult or impossible to export finished goods. Sometimes some countries don't allow kind of export imported products which are coming into their country. For example, even recently we have kind of restricted even Tesla to when they said that they will manufacture the cars, electric vehicles in China, and then they will import it to export it to India. Whereas our policy, our government says that if you want to sell electrical vehicles in India, set up your base here, manufacture them here, then only you will be able to sell you. So that's kind of again government regulation can kind of affect how you are going to sell in international markets. So challenges that are there with respect to licensing is that there is a fear of missing out on royalties not getting paid, right? You don't have anything on that, so maybe you're kind of the licensee might kind of woke up your kind of agreement, and he will not provide you any royalty no longer. That may be because of some political instability as well, right? And then there is again a question of quality of the products of the licenses finished product. So you did your job, you just transferred your technology through licensing, but at that particular plant or that particular manufacturing site, is the product that is getting out of that particular factory is meeting up to the standard or quality standard that is already set. So that's kind of something which is very ambiguous when you are dealing with some licensees. So these kind of challenges may arise across type of intermediates you have. Again, you can have export houses, the fourth option you have, right? So export houses are usually home based organizations that are carry out some or all other overseas activities in place of the manufacturer, often using their own agent, distributors or intermediaries as well. So these export houses are available in your home market. There are some companies who entirely handle export of certain goods and products. So they are useful alternatives for small companies who can't having that kind of leverage to establish their presence in overseas market, or whose overseas operations are very limited, not warranting the expense of direct involvement. So maybe for these kind of small companies, export houses can be a good way to sell their products internationally. Export houses offer flexibility and range of services. For example, export factoring, like handling finance and credit arrangements on behalf of manufacturers. Export houses also do factory representation, a sales supervisor supervising the sales activities of a distributor. So you may kind of get a particular team of salesperson only working on your products, which is kind of employed by your export houses that you select. Market intelligence is something that is gathered in overseas markets through these kind of export houses. So they have the team to collect that particular market information. Handling export procedures and documentation, that's easy taken care of. Help in selecting agent, distributors and dealers, so your work is getting reduced. The export house will do everything. And confirming orders, paying the manufacturer on confirmation of an order from an overseas buyer and receiving commission in between. So that's how export houses works. Again, there are again challenges related to export houses as well. For example, lack of direct contact with the market, right? So you are not connected directly to your customers or your kind of salesperson. So you can only advise or kind of instruct export houses to follow certain methodology of selling or something like that, but it's not guaranteed that the same will be replicated or used by salespeople on the field. So there is again a difficulty in monitoring developments and changes in the overseas market, and adapting to these changes in a good time is not something kind of very good when it comes to export houses. So it takes a lot of time so that there is information reaches to your office or head office, and then you take a call or you make some changes in the products and services, and then again you get into the market with the revised product or renewed products. Again, another ways are like direct methods. So these are something which is indirect methods of selling internationally. There are some direct methods as well. For example, establishing subsidiary companies. So the subsidiary may be a selling or manufacturing organization, or both. A selling subsidiaries usually replaces agents and distributors with company's own permanent staff. So you only open a particular kind of sales team or operations, and you kind of establish a separate entity or a subsidiary, we can say, which works for your products and services exclusively. Joint ventures is again another example of direct methods. A joint venture is a business relationship where two, but sometimes more, agree to pool their resources in order to accomplish a specific task. For example, sales. So generally characterized by shared ownership, risk and even returns as well. So whether you are making profits or whether you are making losses, joint ventures, both the parties or whatever the parties coming together, they will have that equal responsibility or share that particular profits and loss inequality. So Sony and Ericsson, so we know the popular joint venture, that is Sony Ericsson, which was founded as a joint venture in 2001 in order to share technology in the field of mobile communication. So that's one kind of an example of joint ventures. Direct selling is again another method So, despite the strength of using intermediaries, some companies find that direct selling from the home country to overseas markets offers more benefits and advantages. So, direct selling requires a firm to take responsibility of establishing contact with potential customer. Here, you have to do everything on your own. You need to kind of bring market intelligence, know your customers, arrange for shipping, kind of delivery, and even after sale services as well. See, in those cases, direct selling is preferred when you don't want to adopt any other approach listed earlier. Coming to standardize or adapt, so that's kind of a grand challenge any company can face when going internationally. So Thomas Friedman has written a famous book called The World is Flat, right? So which offers a compelling proposal that globalization is removing barriers between the countries, including the impact of physical, technological, cultural, and political differences. So Friedman's argument is that while these changes are happening in different rate, many management processes around the world are becoming more similar, right? So it's more like standardizing across the globe. So one of the dilemmas in sale and marketing is to decide whether to standardize or globally or to adapt to local market conditions. So one important issue in understanding global trends in sales management is whether real differences exist between different cultures and countries. And if there are real differences, then it's time to adapt your product to. And if there are not certain differences across cultures, let's say from example Canada to US, there we should not expect much more differences across those even 6 cultural dimensions as well. So in this case, you can straight away go for standardize the product and sell the same product in both Canada as well as US. But when coming to a different cultures, right, from west to coming to east like Asian countries, one needs to adapt their products as per the local taste and preferences. So in particular, this raises a crucial question: how important are country differences when we make multi-country sales force decisions on things like level of management behavior and even incentive compensation as well. So these cultural differences will guide or kind of crucial in making these type of sales force decisions. Legal and regulatory compliance is again another grand challenge. The most difficult part of international expansion is complying with those particular laws and regulations of the foreign land. This specific challenge comes under trading regulation, taxation, employee legislation, trading requirements, and even several other aspects as well. So one business firm must review the overall trading scenario in the market before entering. Considering cultural differences. So when it comes to global expansion, one should consider the rich cultural diversity around the world. So while international expansion opens up new possibilities, the risk of miscommunication due to cultural differences is ever present, and it is actually more. So for example, if you are a company in the US and plan an expansion to Japan, you must be aware of their cultures, communicating with customers, greeting, belief, values, verbal, non-verbal communications must be understood beforehand to ensure that business success. So here the main challenge of expansion to a foreign land would be learning a culture totally different from your own. Understanding political risk is another grand challenge. So political landscapes are evolving now and then. Ensure that you are updated with current political scenario, at least related to the particular country that where you want to target. So understand the key issues such as complexity and corruption levels within the particular foreign market before going ahead. Managing organizational communication is crucial when you have team selling across different countries. The way you handle your international expansion determines the success of a business in new market. So you must ensure that your team communication is well planned. The way you interact, report, and monitor your team efforts impact the success of your business in a foreign market. So setting a few leadership rules, protocols, and even effective system can help you overcome the challenges given by international expansion. Understanding the marketing strategy is another crucial challenge. So how well do you know the buying process in the market where you wish to expand? That's a key question one should have answer for this. So learning about your new customers is the only way to sell your products or services in that particular new market successfully. So once you know what works for the new market, you will know how you can position and promote your brand or products. Managing the HR operations, again, that's something which again poses challenges when selling international markets. Taking your business to a global level requires an adequate workforce. One challenge of expansion to a foreign land involves recruiting and managing your human resources. So we already discussed this related concept, like whether you should employ third country nationals or expatriates. So those type of human resources, it's important to understand these kind of HR requirements as well. So you might need to hire a new team and make decisions about sending existing employees and employing new ones. If you decide on hiring local talent, you must assess and attract the global talent pool as well. Local competition is another kind of a challenge that one can face. So research on local competition is a must before entering new markets. So you have to be aware of what your competitors are selling, their marketing strategy, the position in the industry, and even the position of their favorite or kind of popular products that are selling in those particular markets. So you must accordingly develop your competitor advantage to interact or to counteract your particular local competition. So to overcome this challenge is to establish working relationships with local businesses that will give that kind of market intelligence about your customers, kind of intermediaries and everything, which you can leverage to sell better in those markets. Supply chain related risks are again another threat. A separate department should be there in large companies generally to manage things like shipping, storage, logistic, imports, exports. This is because it involves a lot of work, right? So managing the supply chain across boundaries or across countries can be a real challenge. If you are shipping goods from the US, let's say, to APC, Asia Pacific region, you will have to consider geographical distance, cost and time involved in shipping, taxation rules, trading laws, and even customs issues as well. Setting a pricing strategy again can be a challenge if you have not completed your homework. So what will be the price of your product in the new market? Will it be equivalent to the price in the domestic market, that what you are selling, at what price you are selling in your home market? Are you going to price the same kind of good in the same way in the particular international market? Or how can you ensure that both competing prices and even you get the profits at the same time? So several questions need to be answered when setting the prices of your products in foreign land. To remain competitive in the new market and still ensure profit, you must consider the costs as well. So to overcome this challenge of setting a pricing while internationally expanding, research the prices in the local market. The local competition can give you an idea of the standards of prices that are there. So hence you can set a benchmark for your pricing strategy in this scenario. Currency rates is again something which can affect your business. Currency rates fluctuations is another challenging aspect. Overcoming this challenge of international expansion needs monitoring of exchange rates and mitigating the risk of unpredictable fluctuations as well. Since significant fluctuations can impact your expenses and profit, paying suppliers and production cost in the same currency is better. So now looking at, despite these challenges, understand that international selling can have multitude of benefits for your business. Increased revenue, decreased competition, longer product lifespan because you are taking your product to the new market, easy cash flow management because you don't have to wait for your kind of profits to come in. So you can even expect some advance payments in this scenario, which is not usually possible in domestic market. You always tend to give some credit lines to your customers. Better risk management, as you are kind of diversifying your risk across countries into kind of different baskets. So benefits of currency exchange, sometimes you may get kind of a benefit of this currency exchange or rates as well. So as earning in rupees versus earning in dollars for say. Disposal of surplus goods as well, that's one of the way to get help through this international selling. And enhanced reputation for your business, to establish yourself as a global player providing products and services across the globe. That's kind of benefit one can ultimately enjoy through international selling. So that leads to the conclusion of the final session from this week, where we discuss about how to sell in international markets. Thank you.